Ashwin, thank you once again. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we are one-on-one in conversation with India's best-selling author and dear friend Ashwin Sanghi. Ashwin, you mentioned in our last episode that it's important to differentiate between a writer and an author. A writer is more an isolated person. An author works with so many factors of the
Yeah.
industry, the book industry, publishers, editors, bookshops, etc., etc. Today, even a publisher looks at not a good content, but a person who can market the book also very well.
Yeah.
What are the new trends of marketing that you think are essential for making the book a best-selling book?
You know, Radha, this is my genuine belief that everyone thinks that there is a formula.
Yeah,
The reality is that the only formula
yeah,
is that there isn't a formula. Uh, because, no single author
yeah,
is the same.
yes,
So, what you use as your marketing mix is bound to vary.
yes,
I've seen so many young authors coming to me and saying, I'm now on Twitter, I have a Twitter stream, I'm on Facebook, but my book is not selling.
no,
Because it's not simply that you get onto Twitter and you get onto Facebook and you create a YouTube channel and that's necessarily going to be it.
yes,
It's how you use them.
okay,
There are many successful authors who don't have any social media presence,
sure,
and yet they sell in the millions.
sure,
So the answer is that you need to find what is that one niche for you in terms of being able to actually exploit that part of the niche.
sure,
So for example, I think you're a perfect case study in that.
right,
That I have always looked at you not as a writer
yeah,
of books on Chanakya. I have looked at you as more of a Chanakya guru.
yeah,
That how to make Chanakya relevant in the current context, in the
Yeah.
current world.
right,
So whether it is developing a book, or whether it's recording this video,
yes,
or whether it is in terms of running lectures,
Yes.
or a lecture series,
Yes.
or taking classes,
yes,
or encouraging research,
sure,
you're doing it all. And that is what in turn will probably help your books to sell,
sure,
because you are building up a vertical
Sure.
in which you are
sure,
someone.
sure,
You're a big fish in a small pond.
sure,
I think that is what many authors and writers don't understand.
right,
That they really need to start thinking about what is the best way
sure,
to sell their books.
Sure.
For example, there's another author who I know who writes books which are around real life stories
Okay.
of people,
okay,
but has found that those books do very well with youngsters in colleges.
right,
And so those books are rarely marketed through the crosswords and the landmarks of the world.
okay,
But you'll find that they are regularly made available as a recommended reading
okay,
in colleges.
okay, okay,
So I think what works for one doesn't work for the other. Having said that, at least as far as I'm concerned, what I have tried to make as my mantra is to be reachable, to
Sure.
be accessible.
sure, sure,
So as a result of which, whether it is Twitter, whether it is Facebook, whether it is YouTube, whether it is making myself available for one-on-one sessions in terms of talks, lectures, I'm also in that sense rather hands-on
sure,
in terms of things like, for example, video trailers for my books,
sure,
making sure that select chapters
Sure.
of the books are available well in advance
Yes.
before the books come into market.
right,
I'm substantially involved in things like cover design of the books.
sure,
So all of these are different elements.
yes, yes,
But which one of them actually does the trick? I don't think anyone can tell you.
sure. But you need to keep experimenting.
You need to keep experimenting.
One important question in this particular, there are so many kind of a dimensions you talk about, be it a trailer, the cover design, or maybe speaking with the crossword and the landmark. There is this particular book which is always, I tell you, my favorite, the 13 Steps to Bloody Good Luck. How much is the perennial question, reason for success, luck versus self-effort?
You know, this book actually was born out of a little story.
Yes.
When I had just started out as a writer, I had been rejected by about 47 different
That's a world record, probably.
47 different publishers, literary agents, and so on and so
Yes.
forth. People who had said that, listen, we don't think that this is really our cup of tea.
Sure, sure, sure.
I was at a point where, in fact, I had reached a situation where I didn't even know as to who I could now approach.
Sure.
Because there had been so many people who had received the manuscript.
Sure.
And I was talking with a friend, a family friend of my dad's. He was a Punjabi, gregarious Punjabi gentleman. Used to enjoy his black label Patiala pegs. So he was sitting with my father, and they were having a drink together. And I said, "Uncle, my life is ruined because I have written this book and no one wants to publish it." So he said to me that, Ashwin, remember one thing in life, 99% is about good luck. So I said to him, I said, "Uncle, but what about the balance 1%? The 1% must be hard work, it must be effort, it must be efficiency, time management. There must be something in that final 1%. So he raised his glass, which was still half full with the Patiala peg, and he says, that 1% is known as bloody good luck. And I said to myself, that means, in other words, that no matter what I do, my life is pretty much determined by luck.
Sure.
That's when I started thinking that what is luck?
Wow.
What is luck? And a lot of people think that luck is something that comes down to us from the heavens.
Yeah.
And that is where I realized that no, there are certain things that so-called lucky people tend to do.
Okay.
And that differentiates them, and it makes luck come their way.
Right.
So the way I like to think about it is that you have in Bombay and in places like Chennai, you have problems of water shortage.
Yes.
And many of the houses now have started doing rainwater harvesting.
Yes.
Now the way I like to think about it is that rain is falling down on everyone.
Right.
Everyone has rain falling down on them, but some of them are storing the rainwater,
Yes.
and some of them aren't.
And yeah.
So what is it that the so-called lucky people do in order to be able to capture that rain? What are the tools by which they can capture the rain? And that is really the fundamental basis, the construct of 13 steps to bloody good luck.
I'm lucky that I'm in conversation with Ashwin Sanghi. But yes, he said something interesting, that both of us actually do this thing again and again and again, that is keeping on experimenting. Be it a small shoot or a write-up or meeting different kind of people. Not many of you may be aware that today Ashwin is working on multiple books in the future. We'll talk about it in one of our previous episodes. So there are quite a few dimensions that probably I'll be touching upon in future episodes. But in our next immediate episode, I'm going to talk about the industry called Indian writers and their books, where probably we are a small part of it. He has done so much. In the last 10 years, a lot of things have changed in Indian writers and readers. And how can we be a part of that, and what Ashwin has done in that particular space? In the next episode, we're going to look at that. Keep watching this YouTube channel. Subscribe for it. If you have a comment, please pass it on. We'll be happy to know about it. Until then, sign off. This is Radha Krishnan Pillai in conversation with Ashwin Sanghi.